Hello guys, welcome to my channel for new battle report. Practice game with my ID again. As I've told you in the previous video where I was showing you a bit how I was building list, I wanted to try out this new concept with Infernal Dwarves to see if it works and how it looks like on the battlefield. Small disclaimer before I start, I'm missing some usual screenshot. Usually I'm having a screenshot or picture for every turn. It's not the case this time, however. I was able to recreate some of the stuff with some small blocks. I should be able to indicate you what happened during this game. So this is my list. Made some change already from the list from the two lists I presented you on the last video, but basically the idea is still the same. Like I've told you, still a 2 unit of Torque Anointed, 1 Kadim Titan, some piece of chaff, a big block, and a bunker for the general, and possibly BSB. And then I decided to go with 2 small cowboy. One time I wanted to try out the BSB small Torque ritual with the Basalt Infusion, so 1 up, 5 up, 3 up against fire, 4 attack, strength 5, AP3, which is not bad as a counter charger, so to say. And a Prophet Bull of Shamut with Alchemist Alloy, Shield, Infernal Weapon, so 2 up, 5 up ward save, fly, so definitely an interesting choice. But however, I wanted to try out with an Adept Alchemy and playing this time the Master in Occultism. I've been playing much more with Master Alchemy and Adept Occultism on the bull. I wanted to try out the opposite to see how it works with the mobility of the guy of Lugar on foot. I decided to try out to see how it looks like on the board. My opponent had an interesting list for Warrior of the Dark God, a bit original because without any Feldrak Elder and Feldrak at all. So he's going with a Chosen Lord, Anthropic Aura, an Exalted Herald, a Buff Chieftain. Never faced this model, was really positively surprised about the damage output that he proposed. Very mobile, less than 300 points, very cool cowboy. 9 flayers, 2 times 10 warrior of lust. Lust is just great on small unit for warrior. I mean, you can flee, you are fearless, feint flight is awesome. So these are great scoring, very versatile. A unit of warrior with Banner of Speed for the Chosen Lord on war days, 1 Battle Shrine, 5 Chosen Knight with full command, and 6 Wretched One. Didn't face this unit yet, so I was curious to see how they play on the battlefield. They can surely cause some troubles because they have a lot of health point and they are unbreakable. So that's never something that you like to face because it's a problematic on his own, and you need to take care of it early on and make sure that basically you're out of combat before to avoid any nasty countercharge afterwards. So you need to be careful. We played Dawn Assault, Spoil of War, decided to go with Ward Save, Rot Within, Breath, Toxic Breath, Mark for Doom, and then Alchemy, the Quicksilver Lash, Armor Save Boost. And my opponent didn't have a lot of magic in his list. So he had the Rot Within, the Toxic Breath, Hereditary Spell, and I guess number 2, a Whisper of the Veil on the Battle Shrine. I guess that's it. So yeah, he has a solid close combat oriented army. Of course, I could struggle against character. I mean, he has Exalted Herald, which is not so easy to face. He has chosen the Fly boost and the Strength 6 Divine Attack, which is good against me. But I know Torque Anointed, I have a chance against this kind of guys, so I will fancy my chances and be looking forward to this kind of battle to see how it goes. He's rather low on chaff, which is surprising for a warrior list, so that means that I could zone him pretty well. He has only 1 big unit of flayer who could chaff me effectively, but other than that, not that much that he could give away because he's he hasn't a lot of scoring unit. We are playing Spoil of War, so you need all your scoring. And of course, range damage could have been more scary in the spell selection, but you wanted a fighty Exalted Herald, so I understand the choice, but this gives me a bit of freedom for my character. So deployment, he decided to drop everything. Here you see the 3 spoil. I was able to choose top. Found interesting with the hill on this side. So yeah, I gave him the house in the middle of deployment zone. You never like that to deploy. So he put on the right the big unit of flayers, first scoring, second scoring, the chosen knights, the Exalted Herald on the hill, the Lord on War Days within the Speed Banner Warrior and the Wretched Ones with the Battle Shrine behind. We could have expected maybe the Battle Shrine within the unit. That could have been interesting as well. And on my side, I counter-deployed in that way, the big brick with the general here, the chaff behind, first unit of Anointed, second unit of Anointed, Orcs in the middle, BSB in the middle, and here I changed my mind a bit. First I put Kalim Titan further back to cover the side for the Flayers and wanted to put the Bull elsewhere, and then I decided to correct because I thought he's quite strong on this side. On this side of the board with the big block and Torque Anointed, I'm strong enough, I think, or I have to. So I decided to put the Bull to compensate, to add some power on this side of the board. But I don't think that was the right idea. To be honest with you, I think my deployment should have been, because as you can see, also I'm lacking a good scoring unit in the middle for this Spoil of War, which is a bit disappointing. So I think I should have put the big block here in the middle, put these guys maybe slightly further to the left, put the Bull to the side, who can really go to the side and threat the Battle Shrine, or even engage against the Wretched One, because he has a good matchup against those guys, because they have no IP, I guess. So with 2 up, I think it's pretty safe to go in combat, and he could stick them in place pretty long, which should be fine for me. So yeah, I think that would have been much better, to put this guy in the middle, this guy on the left, and put him back in the position to zone a bit better the right side of the board. Let's move on to his turn 1. So of course he moves out of arc of Kalim Titan, leaves me with a middle charge from the Bull, with this unit, moves forward a bit with the rest, and in Magic he's cast Rot Within on Kalim Titan and boost himself on the defense, which is interesting in the perspective of fighting maybe against my Anointed, because now I'm eating on 5 up, which I don't like that much. And then he tried to put -1 toughness. I don't remember exactly on who, to be honest. But I was able to dispel it. So let's move on to my turn 1. I took the charge on the right. I didn't really realize that he had 4 attack, I think weapon skill like 5 or 6. He has 1 up armor save. These attacks are Hatred, Battle Focus, AP 10. It is really good, much better than what I expected. But at the same time, I'm causing fear. If he fails fear, I have good chance of killing him. So I don't know, but still 1 up. I thought he had 2 up. That's why I decided to make this choice to put the Bull here. So yeah, when I realized that, I put my Kalim Titan to cover as well. If I'm not able to go out of combat until next turn, I should be able to charge with Kalim Titan because he has nothing to chaff me. I move to the side a bit with these guys to be a bit more central, to threat the center as well, move forward with the BSB, move a bit back with these guys and move forward with the big block. My mage moved out of the unit behind the hill, but as you can see I'm really far away from the right side where I would really need these kind of buffs. So I think my mage position was also not so good. And here you see if he would have been in the middle with maybe the bunker behind, or even with no bunker since he has not that strong range damage magic, could have just put the block and then move out if needed with the mage. I think it would have been much better. In Magic, I was able to put a burst weapon on them and ward save on them. That was it. Close combat, he was able to pass fear, did I think 2 wounds to me, I did 1 to him, I would say. So yeah, interesting for him. I took a challenge obviously. But yeah, with his good armor save, I mean, it was not so likely to kill him in one go because he still has a 3 up. So yeah, obviously that's disappointing, and now I'm likely to die. I don't like to lose my Bull that early in the game. His turn 2, don't have a picture, but basically I will tell you a bit what happened. These guys move on the token. These guys rolled really high. My idea was, by moving back with these guys, to not let him contact me because I prefer charge him and then be free on his turn to be able to get this juicy free pivot and then charge again on my turn. That was my idea, but he was able to roll high enough to not only chaff me, but contact with my unit of Tauric Anointed. So yeah, that's it. And unit with Anthropic Aura move forward, this guy move forward, these guys moved a bit forward, yeah, this guy on the token, this guy, I guess he moved behind the wall, and that was it. In Magic, not much happened. In combat, he was able to kill my guy, reform, but I was still within arc with Kalim Titan. He could have maybe try something a bit more creative to be out of arc. I don't know if it was possible or not. And here, I kill like a bit more than 3 model, but I'm still engaged in combat. My turn 2, the following happened. I charge with the BSB on the last guy who earned token. They make a short flight, roll double 2. I had an 8 on the dice to catch them, and this was really juicy because these guys are a bit more forward, so I was out of arc of everybody. I could reform, look where I want, really like that, the odds of catching him, but I failed charge. So now I know that these guys can charge me, make me flee. I countercharged the flank of the wretched one with the orcs. I measured quickly, and I saw that with a reform and a conga line I should be able to chaff Entropic Aura guy and his unit, which was interesting for me. I decided to march these guys to be on the token. I offer a flank, of course, for Battle Shrine, but then I can reform and fight him, and if he doesn't charge me, I should be able to threat the flank of Entropic Aura unit, which is interesting for me to be overpowered in this zone. And I moved back with these guys. Basically, my idea was the Kadim Titan charge in. If I'm not able to break him, I want to be sure that I can countercharge with this guy. So if he comes in with Exalted Herald, should be able to countercharge with Taurik Anointed. I want to threat him with that. So yeah, what happened in combat? My Kadim Titan wins. I'm causing fear. I wins by a lot. He has like a 4 rerollable, if I'm not mistaken, and he passes it, which is horror for me because then he can countercharge me. Here I kill him, do the conga line, and that was it. His turn 3. Battle Shrine charged me on the flank. Entropic Aura unit charged the conga line. These guys, the Chosen Knight, charge my BSB, who flee over in a safe zone, but still I will need to rally without reroll. I don't like that much. But the cool thing is, he failed the redirect to the charge against Orcs. I would have fled as well, to be honest, to make sure he failed charge, and then I can counter-charge with them. I have a juicy counter-charge on the flank with the Taurik Anointed, so I'm really excited about that. And this guy was able from the wall here to counter-charge Kadim Titan. I reformed to be as far away as possible, but I wasn't able to do more than that, so he will be able to counter-charge me. Yeah, what happened in combat? He win by one. I'm rolling steadfast on a 9 with no reroll. Unfortunately, I fail it. He catches me. So I lose 600 points on this unit. Yeah, it was a bit risky, but I wanted to try out to see how it goes. These guys compensate a bit because they failed the restrain. I guess it's a 9 rerollable. Not sure, but he failed the reroll. I think it was 9. And he has to pursue me, and he rolls really high and ends up like here in the front. Which is great for me because basically I have a charged flank with these guys as well. So very exciting next turn for the ID. And this guy in combat did a couple of wounds to my Kadim Titan, who survived. My turn 3. Of course, I take the 2 juicy counter charge. My idea was I can pursue these guys. I don't remember. I think they are again on the token. But basically, I could pursue, ended up in the front of the house. And then if he charged me with Exalted Herald, I can always flee over the house. That was a bit the idea. So I charge. Here it was not so interesting because I couldn't maximize that well. So only 4 model. I'm not so likely to do much against Exalted Herald. And here, of course, I took the juicy flank. And that's it. What happened? Here I break him, run him down, which is nice because it's his general, so really happy. And here as well, I mean, anointed on the flank, 19 attack, strength 6. Obviously it's too much. So here as well I catch him. So really nice turn 3 for the ID. I lose Kadim Titan in exchange, but that's not that much. And then I don't have turn 4, but basically he charges me with these guys. I fled over the house. These guys charged them. They were in the ruin. They had to flee, drop the token. And then on my turn 5, I moved on the token. Here I moved these guys on the token. I played a bit with the BSB who rally himself to zone this guy out. And on my turn 5, I was able to kill to cast a Mark for Doom and kill the Barbarian Chieftain, which was interesting. I was able to rally them on a 9 with no reroll this time. And yeah, that's it. One time the Orc Slave had to flee, I guess, got caught by the warrior, if I remember correctly. And basically, yeah, I offered him the situation that he could have charged with, I guess, Barbarian Chieftain. and this unit against me, I put on myself +2 ward save and kill the chieftain, so he couldn't really come at me. It was still a very risky fight for him, I think. And then on his last turn, he moved out of arcs. I didn't understand really that move. I think it would have been better maybe just to move out of arc and not... He really wanted to be here to cast an hereditary, try to kill my general, which is nice, but in exchange, basically you are likely to maybe lose the battle shrine and obviously the flayers. So I think maybe it would have been better to save these 2 units, take a safe position with him and not cast, because he has only hereditary. If he had, for example, Gravecrawl, I would have maybe taken the bet because it could be interesting. And at the same time, with the chaffing of Battle Shrine, I cannot contact with more than 3 models, so not enough to kill him. So yeah, he's quite safe, I think. And then on my turn 6, I took both units, run down the Battle Shrine with BSB, which is nice. Took all the token, and that was it. So basically, what he had left at the end of the game was his Exalted Herald, 2 units of Warriors. I had 2 tokens, both my unit of Anointed, BSB General, and a small unit of Blunderbuss. This makes 17-3. Heavy score, because if you look at the game, I think I was rather lucky to be able to take advantage from the Entropic Aura failing to pursue and be able to charge him in the flank. I think that was quite decisive, because in the front maybe he could have stick. I'm not sure about that, but maybe. Definitely has more attack, so he should be able to do some more wounds to me, so maybe he can stick. I'm not sure about that. And the other one, I think it was rather not an optimal decision for him to charge the BSB, even if he was a bit unfortunate to not redirect the charge. I think it was a trap that I could flee in a safe zone. Of course, I can fail 9 to reroll and then lose my BSB, obviously. But I think it's a bit too much of a risk for very expensive Chosen Knights to be in exchange charged in the flank by Anointed. So yeah, deployment, I think I pointed out already what I would have liked to change. Put the big brick in the middle, put the bull on the left, cover better with Kalim Titan on the right. I think that would have been much better. Despite my mobility, I was really disappointed about my character setup, obviously. I wasn't able to really give magic where I wanted. The BSB, I think you're always going to take risk when you play BSB on Toruk. Sometimes you have to take middle range charges, and you're always going to take a risk when you do that. And I didn't like it that much. I didn't feel that comfortable with it. Yeah, even I was quite mobile with General. I wasn't able to get the good range, so I still think it's problematic to play on foot. Even with March 12, to play Occultism on foot is still problematic. I don't have that many units to be within, so still problematic. Wretched One, I think I could have blocked them with Warrior using Relentless, putting myself in front of them. I think that would have been better just to avoid them sticking my Torque Anointed, because you never know what can happen when they stick you, never know when you come out. So if I have the bull on the left, I would have probably deal with them with the bull, just try to stick them. They have no, I think they have a regen or Aegis, I'm not sure. But anyway, I think it would have been much better to have the bull on the left to deal with what he had on the left. I think the bull is also a threat to the battle shrine, so I think I could have done a bit better. But still, for a first game, not too bad. A bit lucky to win that heavily. But interesting game, very bloody. Thanks to my opponent for the game, was really interesting. And I'm looking forward to show you the next battle with a couple of changes I did to my list. Of course, I think it's just the beginning of a new project for the ID. I love my Anointed model. I have physically 12 of them that I bought several years ago from Forgeworld. So very expensive. So I really would be really happy to play them on the board physically and to paint them. I only painted like 3 of them until now. So I would be really interested to paint and play all of them. I think that would be really cool, or would look really cool on board. So I think that's a nice project to continue to work on. Definitely, I think the Anointed are a credible option. Of course, they are a bit more expensive than the Lugars, but they have some advantage, some disadvantage in comparison to Lugar. They are maybe a bit less flexible, have bigger footprint, some disadvantage, but they can charge with movement 7, and I think that fits much better to my playstyle than the Lugars. So that's why I would like to continue with them. And also it's an original choice, and I think I kind of like having my own concept of a list. I think that could be interesting in ID, especially at the moment where everybody tries a bit new list in ID, try new concept, try to find stuff. And I think at the moment the opinion, if I'm reading the 9th Age form, is rather, okay, the ID are really good at shooting, but not so good in combat, so we need to look at that in the next balance update. So I'm happy to see that also my close combat version is not so bad, actually. I think it's still a viable option. Of course, something needs internally to be adjusted, but I think the Anointed are much more decent than what I expected, actually. And I saw a huge difference between playing Anointed with the BSB, which was definitely less my playstyle. It's more central zoning. It's something completely different where you play on the stubborn checks. Then the Anointed by 6 without character, who can go on the flank, who can do other stuff. It's definitely much more my style. So yeah, of course you need to try out stuff, even when people don't play them. That doesn't mean that something in the book is bad. There is always a way, I think, to play unit. Just have to find what suits your style and your taste, more or less, and then to see if it works and how it can work. I think the fact that I was able to give to find a good magical setup helps as well. So thanks for watching. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.